Hi, this is Nathan Tintle. In this Learning Goal video, we will talk about how to state hypotheses when we're looking for evidence of association between two categorical variables. We will use the Swimming with Dolphins dataset to talk about this learning goal. Researchers were interested in knowing whether swimming with dolphins improved chances of improvement on depression symptoms more than a control group. Another way of asking this question is there evidence of a positive association between the presence of dolphins and improvement on depression symptoms? Now in this video we want to talk about how to phrase the null and alternative hypotheses. Remember that the null hypothesis is also known as the dull hypothesis, which is a way of remembering it's the statement of no effect. The alternative hypothesis is a statement of effect. So if we apply that principle here, we can realize that the null hypothesis is saying there's no association between whether or not someone swims with dolphins and whether or not someone shows substantial improvement on their depression symptoms. Whereas the alternative hypothesis is that there is an association between whether or not someone swims with dolphins and whether or not someone shows substantial improvement, specifically that swimming increases the chances of improvement. So one way of stating the null and alternative hypothesis is in terms of association. But there's another way, and this is in terms of probabilities. No association means that the probabilities are the same in the two groups. Applying that here, that means that the probability of substantial improvement is the same for the individuals who are swimming with dolphins as it is for the control group. If we use the Greek letter pi to represent these long-run probabilities, the null hypothesis says that pi, when you swim with dolphins, is the same as pi in the control group. The alternative hypothesis says that the probability of improvement is greater when you swim with dolphins as compared to the control group. You can see that stated here, that pi, swimming with dolphins, is greater than pi in the control group. A couple of words of caution. Both of these ways of stating hypotheses, in terms of association or in terms of long-run probabilities, are fine, but it's important to remember that they both refer not to the sample, but to the population parameters, or the long-run probabilities. That is, those unknown parameters, not just the sample. And either one of these approaches is fine. The association method is nice because it works for any two variables, as we'll see in later chapters. Whether you have one categorical and one quantitative, two categorical, this way of stating the null hypothesis of no association works in any of those cases. Now the downside is because it's so general, it doesn't always tell us more specifically what we need to do to carry out the 3S strategy. In this case, we can be a little bit more specific about this context by stating the null hypothesis as the probabilities are the same in the two groups.